Jack Ebling here with Lindsay, Huddleston. We are at the Duffy Daugherty Football Building, another Press Pass preview, getting ready for Michigan State, Wisconsin, the second of these three meat grinder challenges for the Spartans in October, Lindsay.
Yeah, this schedule right now, this is the heart of it, coming off that Ohio State game at the, Horseshoe, and now heading to Camp Randall for another big game with another one to follow. But no one wants to talk about that. You want to stay present in the moment.
And the Spartans got a good look at J.K. Dobbins. Wait till they see Jonathan Taylor. Haven't seen him yet. He is in his third year, and he is going to have all of the NCAA records for three-year players by the time he is done. Another spectacular season, and gets 4 touchdowns in a game, and then he takes a rest.
Who picks these schedules for these guys, man?
Yeah, Michigan State, the toughest month of any team in the country when you think it's Ohio State, Wisconsin, both on the road, then after the bye, home to Penn State. They don't play a team that's ranked lower than 10th in the country the entire month of October.
That's amazing. With your great history and what you've seen, have you seen teams, even a Michigan State team, to have this kind of condensed schedule with high-ranking teams to kind of roll through it and get the success and come out on top?
One time, 1987, but it was at the beginning of the season. Michigan State opened with Southern Cal, got a win there on Labor Day night, and then played Notre Dame and Florida State back-to-back, lost both of those games, but never lost again. Went on and won the Rose Bowl. And if Michigan State can do similar things this year and take the things they learned from the Ohio State game, Michigan State made so many mistakes.
Right.
It's tough to beat Ohio State when you beat yourself.
You talked about a lot. When I talked to some of the players, starting with the captains, I asked, what's something they can take away as a team and something they can take away individually. And they talked about those mistakes, the missed tackles. But one thing that amazed me is the atmosphere. Wow, when we got down on that field in Columbus and that championship culture, you can feel it. And I asked the players about that, and they said some of them responded well to it, but others said it was just another game to play.
There was a talent difference. It was pretty clear, pretty obvious. Question how many Spartans could start for Ohio State. Maybe 3, and maybe on a good day 4. Not many, and if those teams played 10 times, maybe Michigan State wouldn't be shut out. It might win 1, it might win 2, but Ohio State's going to win the majority of those games. And as Mark D'Antonio said today, you have to play a near-perfect game to beat them. Have to play close to that against Wisconsin, the team that led Michigan 35-0, and that's the biggest shutout deficit Michigan has had since 1962.
Right.
So when you think about what Wisconsin has and the defense, it's number 1 in the nation in scoring defense, in total defense, in pass defense, in third down defense, and number 2 in rushing defense. They've had 39 situations this year of third and long, that's 7 yards or more.
Brian Lewerke wanted clarity on what the long was.
Yes, right? And opponents have only converted 1 of those 39 plays. Yeah,
it's a pretty good team.
You had a chance to talk with Kalen Gervin. What did you learn?
Well, he said that was a big experience for him. That was the first time he was starting coming into that. He seemed to be pretty focused. It seemed like the coaching and the culture here at Michigan State prepared him, because to walk into a game like that and that be your first starting experience, that has to be a very overwhelming thing. But he was able to kind of center himself, and all things considered, was able to do okay, even though they didn't get the win.
Elijah Collins today said, the running backs room is getting a little empty.
Yeah.
Besides Connor Hayward, now today, Ladarius Jefferson entering the transfer portal.
That was confirmed.
And as a redshirt freshman, Elijah Collins is the grandpa of this room now.
Isn't that something?
3 freshmen there, and he has knowledge he has to impart to Anthony Williams and Brandon Wright.
Would you ever thought, Jack, at the beginning of this season, it would be a running back situation like this, and do we blame it on the portal? Can we talk about the portal?
Well, I think guys now want to play. And at running back, you have more chances because they do use more than one.
Sure.
But these guys want to be a star, and they look and they say, God, this is a freshman. This isn't a senior ahead of me. I can't wait this guy out.
Right.
So I've got to go somewhere else. I've got to go somewhere where I'm appreciated, where I'm really wanted. And so, you wish them well if that's what they want to do. But Michigan State should be in good position moving forward with those 3 freshman running backs.
Right. To stay on that portal for a second, it's almost like it can be, not even advantageous to the social media generation, because they're so used to instant gratification. And then you have this portal that allows you to get yourself out there in one regard. But, you only hope that teams can kind of be in a position that even if players go to the portal, they can still keep the continuity in the team and have the success they need to have.
Yeah, and that's a matter for coaches to maybe look at that a little closer than they used to. It was, guy's having a tough time, he'll get through it.
Right.
Now, he has 2 bad days in a row, he could be gone.
That's true. And when you talk about the coaches, and especially with your experience of being around great coaches, a coach may say, hey, we want to get you in this position, just stay, watch, grow, mature. But to your point, how much time can they expect the kid to do that when he has a chance to just take off?
Yeah. And speaking of coaches, I had a chance to talk with Brad Salem for a minute and asked him about these 5 men in the backfield penalties and how something like that can happen. And he kind of shook his head. He said, should never happen.
Right.
Some of the penalties should never happen in football. That's one. Another one is delay a game coming out of a timeout.
Right.
And Michigan State's had that situation too. But he said guys get up on the line of scrimmage, and if they look to the official at the end of the line, the official will tell them, you're on the line, you're off the line, get up, get off. And sometimes they get the signal they're on the line, and then they'll just back off, and then suddenly they're not on the line of scrimmage anymore.
Yeah.
And that's taken away some big plays.
That's definitely a mental error, and you wonder if that atmosphere played a role into it. It was a blackout.
Yeah.
It was kind of ominous, and like you told me before we went in, there won't be an empty seat, and there wasn't.
No.
People didn't move, and they were
Even
there
for
to
the band
cheer on their
show,
team.
they were
Even
there,
for
right?
the band, it's like they were there locked in. So I wonder, as much as some of the players may have downplayed it, which may be true, what did that atmosphere do? You see those championship banners up, and that wasn't too far ago, and those people are there to support and cheer.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what they do at Ohio State. Columbus is the biggest city in the state of Ohio, and that is Columbus's pro team. Wisconsin also has a big band show you're going to see, Lindsay.
Okay.
And after the game, it's a ritual. Stadium stays full. They have what they call the fifth quarter, not the fifth quarter on Channel 6 with the high school highlights. But fans stay and they watch a band show after the game. Doesn't matter win, lose. That's what they do at Wisconsin.
That's what they do.
That's what they do.
Okay, that's going to be interesting. And they talk about that beautiful, the scenery maybe on the peninsula, and that gives Wisconsin a great event. What do you expect the outcome to be with the Spartans going into Camp Randall?
Michigan State has a shot, but again, Michigan State can't have stupid penalties. It can't have 2 fumbles in its first 4 offensive plays. It can't have blown assignments that let guys go 67 yards. Can't have missed tackles, bad pursuit angles. Has to play solid fundamental football, and if it does that, it can be in this game in the fourth quarter. Don't forget, Michigan State beat Northwestern pretty convincingly. Northwestern then went into Madison and gave the Badgers all they wanted.
With that, do you think it's going to be a different game plan for the Spartans going into Wisconsin compared to earlier games in the season, even the non-conference games?
I think Michigan State will try to do what it does. The offense hasn't been that big of a problem. If you've got the Big Ten's leader in pass completions and yards, you have the Big Ten's leading receiver, you have number 4 ranked running back in the league. You got a lot of things going you can call on. Now Michigan State isn't averaging 550 yards a game and would like to score more often, but again, those are mistakes.
Right.
Missing open receivers, penalties that put you behind the chains. And if you run into that situation, you're not going to beat Wisconsin because Wisconsin will not beat itself.
They will not beat themselves. So looking at the time, what's going to be happening on Press Pass?
Well, I am going to be moving on to Green Bay,
That's right.
so Tom Crawford will be hosting this week.
Okay.
And we're going to have some other opportunities to do some things. You'll be on the panel.
I had to get a chance.
Yeah, you had to say that, along with Matt Charbonneau.
Okay, all right.
Will be there as well, and Doug Warren talking about the Lions. So we'll have a lot to talk about. But when you have Michigan State, Wisconsin, we have seen a series here, and 2016 game was a little different, but before that, almost every one of these games was close. And you go back to 2011, you had the Keith Nickel rocket reception for the touchdown.
Right, I remember that.
Followed by the Big Ten championship game, and Russell Wilson dueling against Kirk Cousins. And then the next year, Michigan State goes into Madison and snaps Wisconsin 21-game home winning streak.
Wow.
Benny Fowler with the touchdown catch in
People
double
remember
overtime.
that, huh?
Yeah, they should remember that one. So should be very interesting on Saturday, and then the Lions on Monday night. But Press Pass on Sunday, and we'll talk to everybody Saturday from Camp Randall.
That's going to be awesome. Looking forward to it.